Okay, so now for the second video, this is my brother Drew. I'm still Josh. We're gonna troubleshoot a little bit more also, but now we're gonna focus on positional sparring to start to get a sense of how this move works, like in reality. Because sometimes when you're troubleshooting stuff and you're thinking about it and solving it, things happen one way, but then when you actually spar and there's tension and speed and you know, shakiness, things can play out very differently. So we're here. So go like 50%.
Yeah.
So he's going 50%. So that was number one, and it didn't play out the way that it did before. So we go again, you can turn it up a little bit. So now he's going like 60, 70%. So that actually worked in that instance. So that's a keeper.
That was the one we taught.
Yeah. So that one was the one that we talked about in the last video, when he drives his head up, framing my elbow into the hips and taking him over. And it felt like what took you over was a combination of me pulling your head in like a neck crank and an elbow up. Is that what it felt like to you?
I definitely felt the elbow up changing the angle of my hips too, turning my hips vertical to the sky instead of horizontal.
Yeah.
Where if they're horizontal, I feel like good.
Yeah, you're strong.
Right? But the fact that you kind of drove my upper hip here sideways,
oh, interesting,
made me want to kick to get back level.
So if you kept your hips level like this, yeah, now I can't get it.
Heavier.
But then because your hip, oh,
right,
okay.
Right.
And what changed your hip was me pushing in the armpit. So here, this raises your shoulder.
Yeah. Yes. It feels very strong in there.
All right. So then we'll go back to positional sparring again with this new information. So this time, yeah, you go like 70%. What I liked about that was when you went north-south.
Yeah, I brought this hand back to this hip this time. Instead of keeping it over, I went one, because I can't put my elbow down comfortably. So block the head from moving away, and then keep my hand on the same side.
Yeah, and then as you came to north-south, I had to defend by putting my hand in the shoulder here, because with the gi on, he could paper cutter choke me.
Yeah. Even no gi, it's annoying, right, to even have your neck framed like that.
Yeah, and when you did that originally, when you put your hand there, my first thought was like you started to go
here, right?
Yeah, here, and then your hand. I felt like I wanted to drive my hips out, but he kept his hand glued to my hip. So he was like following my hip like that. So my hips really couldn't go anywhere effective. So that shut me down. So if you do that again. Okay, so here. So if I'm keeping, okay, so if I'm here, that's bad for me. All right, so lesson, don't reach down and grab the wrist because you get screwed. So here, and then if you do that again, 1, 2.
Yeah, this frame is very annoying for me.
It's tough, so I gotta go. So when I feel you do that, I gotta go, so you go here, I go 1, and I gotta dig underneath here, and then this elbow this time was digging into his arm so he can't follow my hips anymore. And now I can get my knee across, I feel like.
Can you escape from here if you get this knee move? I'm holding the head, holding the knee.
So I would have to get my leg lower. This is because I'm flexible.
Because I lifted too.
Yeah. Yeah, in that case, because I could get my leg like this.
Inside somewhere.
Yeah. Yes, I think there, so if we're, so we're here.
One,
So that
two.
situation played out like this. He reaches over, he blocks my hip. I was getting underneath here. My elbow was digging across his arm, and we ended up here. But he's got control of my leg.
Like this, underneath the shin and the thigh. Hooking under and over.
And I had here,
So typical elbow escape won't work.
yeah, here I can't elbow escape anymore because my leg is locked, and when he drives his hips forward, it points my body the opposite direction. So,
You did something to stop that though.
yeah, here, and then I think I have my leg like this.
Yes, leg was over.
If my leg is here, you got that no problem. But I felt like I had to get my leg as close to your hip as possible. Because here, now when you start...
It's almost breaking down the structure of my arm a little bit here.
Yeah, so I had this to protect myself, and then I got to replace that with the foot and the hip.
Alright, so I gotta go 1, 2.
Yeah, this is trouble for me.
Right?
And then we end up in the same situation.
Situation opposite side.
On the opposite side. So you guys, you can see how positional sparring, starting off light, 30%, 40%, 50%, and then building up intensity, and then keeping a dialogue open with your training partner can really help. Like, already we've been doing this for 15 minutes. This is the first time that either of us have explored this exact side control escape.
Yep.
But now, I think we both understand it a lot better than we did half an hour ago when we just watched it on video. So that's the idea. Dissect the move, discuss it, get feedback from somebody that you're training with, try it in positional sparring, and then figure out the chess game that happens at each part of the move. What would you do here? What would you do there? And then try it in positional sparring so that you can see what really happens when somebody is like reacting without thinking about it and putting pressure. Give it a shot. Thank you. Awesome stuff. That was interesting.
Yeah, it is. I actually really
Like that.
it reminds